Okay, we got Blizzard North dev critiques Path of Exile in Diablo 4 gameplay from your boy Talkative Try. Okay, what is Mr. Blizz North have to say?
It has been quite a while since a big Diablo developer has said something interesting about the state of ARPGs. So,
Yeah, because I thought they all left. I thought they all left already.
when this little tidbit of information came out, I knew we needed to talk about it, especially since the last tidbit of
What was this? Rod Ferguson. Feels like the genre of ARPG is starting to mean a lot of different things. No. If you say ARPG, I immediately have an image of my head or image in my head, and ARPG it's about the same thing as shooting game. Yeah, you can have like third person shooter or first person shooter, but at the end of the day, you're just shooting things. At the end of the day, you're just spamming abilities from like a or the top down perspective. That's all it is. Much like Souls-like and roguelike, I wonder if we could normalize Diablo-like for ARPGs that follow the Diablo formula. Were there any ARPGs before Diablo? Let me see. Were there any ARPGs before Diablos? Actually, let's ask Chat GPT. Okay. Let's search and reason. Oh, god dang it. I can't even spell right. God dang it. ARPGs. Go. Reasoning. Let's see. What? Dragon Slayer, Xanadu, Legend of Zelda. What? For a second, yes, there are several notable ARPGs that predate Diablo, although Diablo, released in the 1996, is often credited with popularizing the specific Diablo clone-like style of ARPG. Early pioneers, Dragon Slayer, I don't even know how to say that. Legend of Zelda. Huh. That is actually, yeah. Legend of Zelda was like early ARPG, like additional games like Dragon Slayer 2. What is this? What is this style of gameplay? Real quick. Oh. I think I would say this is like a side scroller. Well, not this part. Whatever. Yeah, everybody saw this last year. Saw this was a meme. I think this was just bait. Everybody fell for the bait. Everyone thought that he was actually being serious. He just threw that out there, and every other ARPG is like, oh, it's Diablo-like. Ooh.
insight from the creators of the largest action ARPG franchise ever made was so juicy. However, this
Yeah, so juicy at 700 likes. Okay, dude.
particular sliver of knowledge doesn't come from the current day stewards of the Diablo franchise. No, it actually comes from someone who made Diablo games that contained Diablo. Yeah, this friendly diss charges in from one of the old guard, one of the original arbiters of the ARPG genre and of Diablo itself. The man, the myth, the legend who doesn't like to zoom super fast like you and I, David Brevik. And by all the gods, I think I agree with him almost wholeheartedly.
What was he gotta say?
Are you ready for this sick burn? Here's the first quote. I think that ARPGs in general have started to lean into this. Kill swaths of enemies all over the place extremely quickly. Your build is killing all sorts of stuff so you get more drops. You can level up so you can and the screen is littered with stuff you don't care about.
Oh, your build is killing all sorts of stuff so you could get more drops. You can level up so you can and the screen is littered with stuff you don't care about. So understandably, I had this happen to me one time when I had to give a quote for a newspaper. They don't make you look good at all. They don't correct any sort of quotes at all. So if you sound stupid when you're talking or doing the interview, you will sound stupid in the article. So it makes so I'm doing right now. So just so they can say it is 100% honest quote, it is unedited and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is just a note to everybody that does an interview. Yeah, so just speak. You have to collect your thoughts first. But okay, let's tackle this. Your build, yes, this is what has evolved of ARPGs, bro. Back in the Diablo 2 days, you were doing this. Of in the beginning, you're building up your character, and in the beginning, it's slow, but then over time, it's you acquire so much power, and it's just a case of this, where bang, brush. Let's make a line, yellow. This is the power scale. Yeah, that's the power scale. You got this versus this. Let's grab it right there and go whoop. Well, actually, let's do this. The 45-degree angle is actually not good representation, so let's do that. Let's get that type of line, and now we'll do this type of line, and we'll grab it right there, and it's wham, there we go. So linear progression, straight diagonal line, and then you got exponential progression, which is represented by this big old parabola. You're sucking dicks for most of the time. You're doing worse than the linear progression until you reach a point. Then exponential stuff starts getting so much better. That's what we're talking about. So if that's all this argument is, additive numbers versus multiplicative numbers, I mean, we can have an argument about it. Of course, the dopamine levels are going to be super high right here, versus doing two or three shotting a mob with this type of build, the linear progression build. I mean, pride and accomplishment, overcoming obstacles is different than big dopamine hits, and what the goal of a video game developer wants you to feel whenever you're building a build. It's I'm just going off, but let's keep going.
You can and the screen is littered with stuff you don't care about. I don't find that as kind of personal.
And well, stuff you don't care about. In the beginning, you learn all the movesets of the mobs because you can't one-shot them. The one-shotting aspect of it happens later. That's such a a straw man type argument. That guy, Blizzard North Dev, he is probably just watching the streamers and just watching how good they are, gameplay wise, mechanical wise. They can figure out how to one-shot mobs way earlier than any type of casual person or anything like that. And so what they base their quote on, what their opinion on, is what they see. Oh, they see all YouTube videos of oh, look at this build, it's multiplicative, exponential damage. I just killed the end game boss in like less than 5 seconds. Oh, he's just cruising through the map at like warp speed, at plaid speed. It's like, bro, that is not the average gameplay experience of like someone that is casually just playing the game. It's not.
Personal and
Okay. I'm just going off. Okay. I don't find that as kind of personal and realistic as like Diablo 2. The pacing on D2 I think is great. That's one of the reasons it's endured.
realistic as like Diablo 2.
Okay.
The pacing on Diablo 2, I think, is great. That's one of the reasons it's endured. I just don't find killing screenfuls of things instantly and mowing stuff down and walking around the level and killing everything very enticing. I just don't feel like that is a cool experience. I find it kind of silly.
Okay. That's why that this kind of experience of walking around the level, mowing everything down, happens at the end. Okay? If you're really good at the game, then you could kind of like take that end game and make it happen a little bit earlier because you know like what things synergize with what. You know, like stack damage in the beginning, get all the like additive little dots on the damn little fucking map or whatever. Just stack damage, do massive amounts of damage, and then oh wow, I got this like game like build defining piece of gear. Oh, I can go now. I do like a even more additive damage. Oh wow, now it seemingly looks like I can like almost one or two shot the mobs. Wow. I mean, I haven't played D2 in years. Like when did I play D2? It's been like I played it when I was like 10. It was so long ago. And you don't I think most people don't have that type of want in the game or that idea of walking around one-shotting everything, because what is that? I mean, that's essentially you turning the game on and like you downloading cheats for the game. You just walk around, just one-shot everything. Okay, that doesn't happen in the beginning. He's not even like talking about the development and the growth of a character. He's just saying, like this is what I see. He's not even saying what he sees. He's just saying this is all that I see. All I see is people walking around, one-shotting everything. How do you like that? Bro, that's only like 1% of people are doing that. But then those 1% of people are all streaming. So it gives the illusion that everybody's doing it. That is not what everybody is doing. Not even Elon Musk is doing that.
That right there is a direct call out of Last Epoch, Path of Exile, Diablo 4, and many other ARPGs of the present day. In fact, it's even ripping what Path of Exile 2's cruel mode and endgame quickly devolves into with the current state of balance during PoE 2's early access period.
Yeah.
Single clicks exploding entire screens and players reaching this pinnacle level of power way too fast or easily. And
again, this is the difference between a really good player that understands every single aspect of the game versus a casual person that is most likely just following a build on their other monitor.
Know what? He's partially right here for a large swath of people who seriously would enjoy ARPGs but do not like the best possible.
Even worse, if the person isn't even following a build. It's even more so like that. Okay, much the same way how World of Warcraft developers design like mythic level raids with the idea that most guilds that are playing these raids probably have the maximum amount of add-ons doing the bulk of the work for them. They like GGG probably, hopefully, I mean, I don't know, maybe not, hopefully, whatever. GGG probably knows that most people know that most players will probably play with a build on the side of their monitor, okay? Which is a completely different experience than trying to make a build yourself from nothing. And, you know, in the beginning, what did they say? One of the core concepts they tried to shell out whenever they made PoE 2. They wanted to simplify and streamline the experience in order to bring in new people, people that never played ARPGs before. Okay? If I never played an ARPG before and I try to make a build in PoE 2, it's fucking hard, dude. Are you kidding me?
State of their characters, transcending to dashing from one screen to the next with little thought about what each enemy or pack of enemies is doing. It's why so many people, including myself, were foaming at the mouth about Path of Exile 2. It promised something fresh, something new, and I'm still hopeful that'll be achieved as its early access receives sweeping changes. However, the current age of ARPGs is a monolith. Almost all of them, love them or hate them, rapidly turn into this style of play far too quickly, and that is a problem. There's room for multiple speeds of ARPG to exist.
Why? Why is it a problem? What? Because it trivializes the game, the core game loop? Who is trivializing the core game loop? The top 1% of players. Yes, they're all streaming and they're gonna trickle down like all their information of like what they understand and all that shit. It's like, oh guys, hey, if you just want to have like a good cruising like casual build, it's like, okay, yeah, and then that's probably going to be fine. But again, if Mr. Blizzard North dev, all he sees is like the people that are streaming are for the most part really really good at the game, or at least like the top 20 slots of like Twitch or YouTube or whatever. I guarantee you Mr. Blizzard North dev, if he scrolled down like a couple minutes on like the PoE 2 like Twitch list and try to see like what those guys are doing, that like the gameplay is just going to be completely not completely different, but it's not going to be as fast. I bet.
Exist, even multiple speeds of play to exist within the same ARPG. But right now, every single ARPG that exists, heck, even Diablo 2, turned into Zoom fests. So this quote is actually a little funny from David. Tell him.
What? Because people like to go Zoom? If you don't like to go Zoom, don't follow a build. It's as simple as that. No one is forcing you to go Zoom. You, personally, go ahead and try to make up your own build. Don't use the completely broken multiplicative skills or gems or whatever.
Tell him to stay away from Mr. Llama SC's YouTube channel. In all seriousness, I think he's touching on the campaign play and speed of progression through the end game of Diablo 2 and other.
I am so not interested in the end game of. Or wait, no, he's talking about the end game of. Or wait, is that what? Wait.
To stay away from Mr. Llama SC's YouTube channel. In all seriousness, I think he's touching on the campaign play and speed of progression through the end game of Diablo 2 and.
Okay, so that's what he's basing his stuff on. Mr. Blizzard North dev, that's his point of reference. Diablo 2 campaign and endgame. Okay.
Other ARPGs, and not necessarily what your character transcends into by the end of the endgame when they turn into gods. That even happened in Diablo 2, and I'm sure David Brevik is very aware of that fact. And my thought right here is
so wait, are we talking about this point in like let me just what do I do this? Like this is the top. This is like the outlier shit. This some more outlier shit. So are we talking about like this is like the halfway point and then what's like it's like there, and then I don't know, fucking right there. Is what he is talking about like right here? Like I'm just gonna make some like. Is he talking about this part? This is like a standard bell curve of deviation. What is this, like 5%, 5%? But this is like all like what, like 90% is like all of this. Or if he's like critiquing that, then like this part is getting like smushed, like what? Like it's getting smaller to give you like the gameplay of like over here. I don't know. I mean, with like whenever I played PoE 2 and Diablo 4 D4, I never really got to like this outlier 5% type shit. Like my max level characters in like was like PoE are only like 70 something because I just don't give a shit about maps. It's boring. D4, what I get to? I think I got to like 70 in D4 on season 0 because I was like, oh wow, that's like essentially halfway as far as experience wise. I'm like, well, that's stupid. No thanks. And then I got to 100 on season, was it 2? The vampire one? And then I was like, oh wow, that actually feels pretty. It actually felt fun because I never have been able to experience like zooming around. I thought it was pretty cool. Has he ever thought about like that type of person? A person that's just like, I don't care about like the super giga end game. Like once I reach like about here, I'm good because it's such an exponentially more like time and effort to go from here to like here. I'm just like, no thanks.
Solidified when David Brevik and the interviewer talk a little bit more about modern games and historic games and their speed of progression, not just ARPGs. With any RPG, especially MMOs and ARPGs.
Okay, especially MMOs and ARPGs.
Brevik explains that the fun actually isn't getting to the end, it's the journey.
I think this is true upon your first playthrough of the game. And maybe if you play like multiple classes of ARPGs or MMOs, upon your first playthrough of a certain class for like the campaign, maybe this is true. But if you're like a really hardcore player and you're playing every season and you want to play like a couple classes, that part starts to like dwindle, and you play it solely for the end game because you already know what that feels like. So he's not wrong entirely, but he's not right entirely. There needs like more context.
While titles like Diablo 3 force players to play through 70 levels worth of experience in a few hours, that progression rips away player growth and it tears apart the journey. In comparison, Diablo 2's slower pace, longer grind, and sparser enemy crowds make the game feel like an actual adventure.
I mean, again, upon your first playthrough of like the game, or upon like your first playthrough of like a new class, yeah, you're right. But if you're playing like season 13 of Joe Schmo's Druid, or fucking what was it on Perseverance, then this is not the case. You already know what that's like. You've been there, you've done that, and now you're just playing for like the new mechanics because the new mechanics want to make you do more damage and run faster.
When you're shortening that journey and making it kind of ridiculous, Brevik told us, you've cheapened the entire experience, in my opinion.
I mean, it is an opinion. He can have it, and he's not wrong, but he's not right either.
David Preach. This is an exorbitant view, one shared by some, but unfortunately ridiculed by many in the current live service system of games and era of ARPGs. I really think Brevik would like Path of Exile 2's campaign.
Wait.
Unfortunately ridiculed by many in the current live service system of games and
Yes. Because what's the goal of live service type games? The goal of live service type games are to take every single solitary mechanic that you can possibly imagine about the core game loop of your favorite genre and to pointlessly extend it, balloon it out, expand it, and create such a negative, well, not negative, but like, and this is only going for like character building type live services. Obviously, this isn't the case for what do you call it, for like just random shooting game like CS or Val. They balloon out all the mechanics and trivialize and granularize every single mechanic. Projectile growth, projectile speed, multi-shot, additive damage, multiplicative damage, conditional damage, damage on Tuesdays. You guys remember that one? Run speed, dodge speed, invulnerability window, like dodge distance. Like if you were to go back and play like a game like I don't know 10, 15 years ago, like I'm playing old school like Devil May Cry, and in Devil Trigger, you build that shit up like that, like shoot out 5 grenades. Grenade launchers from the grenade launcher gun. It's like you just get Devil Trigger. What does your character do when you go into Devil Trigger? It literally seems like you have like cheated. You move at double speed. What else? You do double damage. All your moves come out quicker. And it's like if I were to play a live service game, like that like for me to be able to get that kind of like character growth, it would have taken me like 200 hours. I don't got time for that. That 200 hour like time sink is great for like hardcore people that stream the game day in, day out because they got nothing but time. I'm a filthy casual. I need my instant dopamine. I'm not trying to like get some sort of what do you call it? Like get some sort of pride and accomplishment just from putting in like a stupid time sink into a game and grind out all the bullshit. Jesus.
And era of ARPGs. I really think Brevik would like Path of Exile 2's campaign. I wonder if he's played it. Maybe I should ask him. Players move from game to game with extreme speed, wherein the end goal is always the end and never the journey, generally. Then, in many ARPGs, players seek extreme character.
Again, like when I played with my 3 characters for PoE, I was like kind of enjoying it. Even like upon like the second or the third playthrough of the campaign, I was just like, okay, like even though I've been here before, I'm just like getting around, doing it, whatever. But I guarantee you, like whenever I do make my 4th character, like I'm just gonna be like, okay, fuck it, like blast it, like pedal to the floor. Just pick the best build. Don't give a shit about trying to make something myself. Yeah, it's just what happens when you play the shit out of a game.
Power as fast as possible and as easily as possible, wherein some people like myself love the journey, love a steady progression with certain spikes of power wherein you eventually become a god, but the journey to godhood is dark and full of terrors. This is why I hate campaign skips. It takes out a whole segment of character and world.
Oh, what the fuck is this? Is this PoE 1?
Progression. The goal is
bro, do you have I've never I think I have like 2 hours in PoE 1, but yet I know that whatever this build is, however many buffs, whatever this dude is doing, it probably took him hundreds of hours to be able to do this. Not everybody can do this. Whatever the heck is happening. I think there's more visual clutter here than like all the shooting games combined.
should be making that.
Like, what is up with his health? It's purple. There's like 5 like little potions. How many moves? Like every move looks like he's turning into a Super Saiyan.
Slice of progression as enjoyable as possible, not forcing players to play through it a single time so they can get to the good stuff every other time they create a new character in the game. That's just outright terrible. Brevik is just right on the money here with progression. He knows the end goal is what Diablo 2 eventually boiled down to, but the journey to get there was not nearly as fast or as trivial as it is in many games of the present. ARPG, MMO.
He doesn't get that. Blizzard North Dev doesn't get to see all the people upon their first playthrough of PoE 2. He didn't see all that. All he sees whenever he tunes into a random Joe Schmo stream that's like a turbo blaster is just that. People turbo blasting.
MMO and the like. And that's a huge reason why Diablo 2 has had such long legs. It's why I'm keen on grinding your games addressing the speed of progression and power of characters in Path of Exile 2 early access as soon as possible. Patch point 2 when. They were clear about their intentions with Path of Exile 2.
I mean, shit, like any patch that gives me more content, dude, that's what I'm waiting for. I just put that shit on the back burner. I'm playing some other bullshit. Like, I'll pick up PoE 2 whenever they come out with like another class or something.
They wanted meaningful combat, difficult monsters, and steady progression. And presently, you become a god way too fast and way too easily in Path of Exile 2's endgame. Now, they have recently admitted there are progression issues in the endgame, but their solution to those issues, well, that remains to be seen. I'm hoping for the game to feel more like the campaign for longer in the endgame.
Wait. How is PoE 2 doing? PoE 2. Steam charts. Understandably, this isn't the entire number because people still play PoE 2 off of the Path of Exile standalone launcher. Okay. We have about 1/5 of what our initial peak was. Are you sure about that, guys? And also, understandably, like the natural ebb and flow of a game is to like peak out in the beginning and then it goes down, and then when a new season comes out, it's like it goes up again and then it goes back. Okay, so are you sure everyone's so like why does the number go down? Is the number going down because people are just bored? People like everybody like are every one of these people like just walking around as a god? Like really?
Issues in the endgame, but their solution to those issues, well, that remains to be seen. I'm hoping for the game to feel more like the campaign for longer in the endgame, with an eventual powerhouse of a character after an arduous and exciting journey. I think that's what Grinding Your Games is aiming for in their self-proclaimed next generation and evolution of the ARPG genre. No Rest for the Wicked creative director Thomas Mahler chimed in on this ARPG discourse as well, saying, "There we go. Even the father of Diablo agrees with me. And this is exactly why we made No Rest for the Wicked and took an entirely different direction." I'm pretty sure he didn't mean Diablo 2's endgame in that quote.
Oh, so okay, so I haven't even played No Rest for the Wicked, but I have like seen a little bit of gameplay, and I understand they are trying to do the polar opposite of like Turbo Blaster, just walk through the level, one shot everything. Okay, I get it.
But your general experience, and that is decidedly not what ARPGs have devolved into. As kindly as possible, I respect the direction No Rest for the Wicked ventured, and it is indeed incredibly far from the usual ARPG, but it pushed much too far.
I mean, it's still an ARPG, albeit just a slower one. Like, are these guys just like bickering about the speed of like how much damage you're doing, how fast your character is moving, and that's what they get to try to get to define it as an ARPG? Your character moving too fast, it moving 5 screens a second. That's not ARPG. Meanwhile, No Rest for the Wicked, bro, is struggling just to move from one side of the screen to the other. Ours is more ARPG like because our guy moves at turtle pace. Like, What? We're arguing over the speed of the character and how much damage it's doing?
Far in the direction of one-on-one combat. It's far more a Souls-like than any other ARPG.
Like why? Why can't all of these games just exist and you can play whatever style that you want? Why is everybody trying to be like trying to put something on a pedestal? Like, this is the gold standard of ARPG. Who gives a shit? If you want to make a slow one, make a slow one. If you want to make a fast one, make a fast one. Can they not exist under the same umbrella?
Out there right now, especially since its item system is also very dissimilar from the classic isometric loot-based ARPG experience. Succinctly, No Rest for the Wicked swung way too far in the slowing down of combat side of the pendulum for my taste, but it is refreshing to see another vision of the isometric ARPGs making a stand. All this being said, if we seriously look at the field of current ARPGs and try to find which one evolves the current pace of Diablo 2 as described by David Brevik, the absolute closest is Path of Exile 2, but almost entirely only during the first 3 available acts of the early access campaign. Remember, there are 3 more to go, as 6 in total. The staying power of Diablo
Fucking waiting on that shit. They're taking their sweet time.
2 has been tremendous, as evidenced by the love for fan projects like Project Diablo 2, the non-Blizzard but actually Blizzard remake Diablo 2 Resurrected, and the continually hungry fanbase yearning for the days a new ARPG comes along that shall rekindle that flame that's been kept alive by those aforementioned projects and the embers that were subsequent Diablo games and Path of Exile. In its earliest days, Path of Exile 2 just might be that game. But it all depends on how Grinding Gear Games decides to respond to community feedback during the first 10 weeks of the game's early access. I hope they don't cheapen, in David's words, the entire experience. I love Path of Exile 1, and I was looking for something different in Path of Exile 2's gameplay in the end game, one of the largest parts of ARPGs today. In its current iteration, PoE 2 becomes PoE 1 quite quickly.
Okay, so the end game. Nobody, bro, for the most part, all of these character building type live services, the end game usually sucks. For most of the live service games, it just does. Okay, one game that does end game decently well and is tolerable is Warframe. The end game of Warframe, some would consider, oh, it's just collecting cosmetics, it's fashion frame, yada yada yada, collect all the items in the game, get L4 rank. And what essentially are you doing in the end game? Well, all you're doing is the same thing that you were doing at the beginning of the game. You're playing all the little mini games. You're playing the same mini games. You're doing the same quests, the same missions. Like, my advice for like GGG to try to like spice up the end game, literally look at all the different types of little activities that you're doing for quests that Warframe does, and try to figure out a way to shoehorn that shit inside all the maps. Like, because, like, what are you doing? They kind of have this going, but, like, your main goal of like, a map, you go in, kill a bunch of mobs, and then all of a sudden, it reveals, like, where the rares are, kill all the rares, and then sometimes there'll be, like, a little mini game sprinkled in there of like a breach or whatever the other ones are. I don't even know because nobody really talks about them because they're dog shit. Get more mini games in these maps, dude. Get more stuff to do in there besides kill the rares.
In the progression path. I hope they level out character progression and keep difficulty in the game longer, extend the duration of meaningful combat, and give players new and interesting ways to maximize their characters and allow more types of characters to be viable. This will be helping players achieve godhood with their characters after a profound journey rife with impactful steps forward. And you know what? If Path of Exile 2 and Grinding Games would like to stand out from the crowd of already existing ARPGs like Path of Exile 1, Last Epoch, Diablo 4, Torchlight Infinite, and all the upcoming ARPGs that'll swarm the market like Dragonkin, the Moon Beast ARPG, and possibly a Riot ARPG,
Jesus, I had no idea all those ARPGs were out and are coming out. That's insane. Why not just go play Vampire Survivors?
they'll need to do this. Any one of these current and upcoming games might be the first to break the ARPG monolith of the current age. I'm hopeful it'll be Path of Exile 2. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like it. Like the video to spread the word, and check out my other videos all about other ARPGs and Path of Exile 2. Stay sane.
Yeah. You got that one right, man. Yeah, good video. Pretty cool. I mean, the argument of like you're moving too fast, doing too much damage versus you're moving too slow, doing not enough damage is not meaningful. Slow the rate of power down even more. I don't agree with that. The game, all these ARPGs that already have like the progression like insanely slow. Like the only reason I think that all these comments are being made are because you're only seeing good players play. You're not seeing what's happening for casual people. You're not seeing the 50th percentile. I mean, and hell, you're probably not even seeing the 40th or the 30th. Like, is that how percentiles work? Like the 99th is like the really good, and like the 1, 2, 3 is like really like bad, like brand spanking new. Like, you're not seeing that. You're not seeing like the left side of the bell curve. You're only seeing like the right side. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. Hopefully they can figure it all out in the next year or so. But yeah, overall cool video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, later.